You hear people say, "Well, you should have it all figured out by now." I'm still saying, I don't know what I wanna be when I grow up. So, there you have it. And here's the other thing, I hope I never grow up, right? It's okay to be messy in the middle and in the beginning and in the end and all of that stuff. So give yourself some grace and give yourself permission to be a little messy. It's okay. You're listening to Midlife Strategies for Badass Women, the no BS podcast for women over 40 who are sick of playing by someone else's rules. I'm your host, Sue Willoughby, badass midlife strategist, truth teller, and professional fire starter for midlife reinvention. Around here, we don't do fluff. We do real talk, bold strategies, and badass breakthroughs. Because midlife isn't a crisis, it's your damn power move. If you're all in, unapologetic, and ready to reinvent, let's get started. Hello, my beautiful badasses. It is me, Sue Willoughby. I am the head badass midlife strategist here at Midlife Strategies for Badass Women. And I am so excited to be here because we're going to do a little summer mini series about reclaiming your midlife. And I think that that's important. Now, summertime is kind of an interesting time of year. It's a time where, we step away from our jobs and our real life kind of stuff sometimes and look forward to getting away with family, doing things with friends. The days are longer, the weather is warmer, and we kind of just don't feel like doing much of anything. And I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I can remember when I was a kid and, despite the fact that uh, my parents' marriage was not the best and ended in divorce, clearly not soon enough, but, summertime was actually pretty good. We had a boat or we'd go camping. Now, at the time, there was a certain point in my life where I didn't love camping so much, but I did love the boat. Now, it wasn't a big boat, wasn't a fancy boat, but we could ski behind it, and I loved water skiing. So, when I was a kid, I would beg to go water skiing, and I grew up in upstate New York, so we would take the boat, we'd haul the boat to Cayuga Lake, which was a huge lake. Um, it was a very big lake, and it was fun. There were parts of the lake that were super, super deep, like, I don't know, 400 feet or something. When you're a kid, you're thinking, "Oh my god, there's gotta be sea monsters down there." And, I would stay up on those water skis all day long if my dad would let me, and, he'd get sick of it after a while. So he'd be giving me signals from the boat, like, "Drop," with putting his thumb down, and I'm just shaking him off, just like a pitcher on the mound. I'm, like, shaking him off. I'm like, "I'm not getting down, Dad. I'm not getting down." So he'd slow the boat way down. Now, if you know anything about boats, the slower you go, the bigger the wake, right? And by wake, I mean the waves that follow the boat. So he would slow the boat way down and he would go in really big, slow circles. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, "You're not going to drop me. You're not going to drop me." And then when he got all these big, choppy waves going, he would hit it full throttle. And of course, I would do a face plant. I know that doesn't sound like fun, but at the time, it was a blast. So, anyway, I think about summer and I think about the fun times that I had and this summer, I decided to do something kind of fun. I got a puppy. Now, I already have 2 adult dogs, and the integration of a cute, jumpy little puppy was not exactly their idea of a good time. So, we're going through some growing pains, but the thing is having that puppy energy around really it's hard to be in a bad mood. I mean, really. They're cute, they're just floppy, they're happy, they just wanna make everybody happy, they wanna be everybody's friend. He's adorable, and his name is Otis. Um, I've been thinking about putting him on the campaign trail, Otis for POTUS 2028. I think that's a pretty good campaign slogan. Anyway, that's my fun thing for the summer, getting out of my comfort zone a little bit. You get in the routine. I got the 2 dogs, they're all trained up, well, as much as they possibly can be, and now I throw a puppy into the mix. So, sometimes all I'm saying is you just gotta throw a puppy into the mix. So, for the summer, I wanted to do a little mini, solo series of reclaiming your midlife. So, we're gonna throw a puppy into the mix, and I want you to have this time this summer to not only enjoy yourself, do some things that you've been wanting to do, but also do a little bit of a reset. Take this time to reset. And we're going to go every week. We're going to go through a different stage. And I hope you find this helpful. I'm going to kick off this first episode after my little summer story, talking about why I started this podcast. I started this podcast and I did the rebranding as of July 1st, and to kind of address some of the struggles that women go through in midlife. And I invite guests on my show that have been through various transitions, transformations, and come out on the other side to kick midlife in the ass. How's that? So, this is for women who are over 40 and that you're craving truth and you're craving growth and you're craving freedom. So, all of these things come into play. And, as always, I'm going to throw a little bit of horse wisdom in there, some mindset shifts, and real talk about being messy and wild and unfiltered and all of that stuff that I am in real life. So let's talk about it a little bit. What are some midlife myths that we can bust? So, one of them is, you hear people say, well, it's all downhill from here. You know what? Here's the deal. You're not out of time, but what you are out of is excuses. Time is going to pass. And the more that you say, well, I'm too old, I don't, I'm going to wait for this to happen or that to happen or wait till I retire or whatever, shit's going to happen. Time is going to go by and you just need to move on and understand that there are no more excuses. It's time to drop all of those excuses. The next thing is, you hear people say, "Well, you should have it all figured out by now." I'm still saying, I don't know what I wanna be when I grow up. So, there you have it. And here's the other thing, I hope I never grow up, right? It's okay to be messy in the middle and in the beginning and in the end and all of that stuff. So, give yourself some grace and give yourself permission to be a little messy. It's okay. Also, reinvention is selfish. Hardly. I call bullshit on that in a big way. The truth is that prioritizing joy and reinventing yourself or doing the things that you want is a radical act of self-respect. Okay? It's not selfish. It's selfless. So, how do you make a midlife shift? And how can you start to rewrite those scripts and reframe your identity, your sense of self? It's not easy, but if we do it one step at a time and ease into it, you'll be a lot better off. So I want you to think about what it is that talking about you, not talking about everybody else in your life, what is it that you really want? When you think about something, what is your passion? What is your purpose? And most of you are probably shaking your head going, I don't have the first fucking clue. I lost my passion and I lost my purpose a long time ago. So what can you do to reclaim that? To rescript, to do whatever. Well, I'll tell you for myself, when I think about midlife, I can get depressed and I can think, oh my God, I only have X number of years on the planet and I really shouldn't do risky things, but it doesn't stop me. I still do them. And I think if you live in fear, then it will stop you from doing new things and from making big and or even little changes in your life. So I challenge you to think about what really lights you up. And if you don't know, then I recommend that you take some time to just be quiet. Now, the problem with being quiet is that things get really noisy. Things start to bubble up from inside and it starts to get loud. But when I say get quiet, try and tune out all of the external noise, whether it's friends, family, job, politics, social media, whatever, and get quiet and create a container where you can sit with yourself. Now, it's not going to be easy at first, but keep your journal handy so that when things do bubble up, you can write them down. Or you can record it on your phone if you don't want to write things down. You can have your phone open on voice record and just record kind of your thoughts, your inner thoughts, your what things are bugging you. You can also do a mind map where you write down all of the things that bubble up and then figure out, is this something that is important to me? Is it something that's not important to me? What the hell does it even have to do with reclaiming my midlife anyway? So that's just kind of a little thing out there that you can do. So when you reflect on what you want, your true inner voice starts to emerge. Like I said, you may not want to hear what it has to say, but it is speaking to you from a place of truth, from your inner being. And I know that sounds crazy and woo woo, but just bear with me for a minute because it's really important. When you listen to yourself and you shut everything else out, your inner being starts to come forward. Like I talked about at the beginning about water skiing when I was a kid, or horseback riding when I was a kid, or just doing something, sitting on the beach during the summer and getting sand in your pants and letting the waves wash up and just being playful. I think that as adults and as midlife women, it's hard for us to remember a time when we were playful and when we gave ourselves permission. We didn't need permission, we just did. We were just playful. We had fun. I remember as a little kid running around without my shirt on. Now, I probably would not do that now because I don't wanna scare anybody, but think of something that you did when you were a kid that was just pure joy. Can you do that now? Is there anything that you can think of that you did during the summer when you were a kid that was purely joyful? Can you recreate that? Can you do something similar that would bring you that same feeling of joy? And when you think about that, close your eyes and think about, what did that feel like in my body? Picture yourself on the behind the boat, on the water skis, or whatever it is that brought you joy as a kid, and just sailing along on the water like it was just like nothing in the world could stop you and make you feel bad at that time. What did that feel like in your body? I can think about it now, and I'm getting really, like, exhilarated. I think about, the first time I got up on water skis. I think about the first time I jumped the wake and was out there sailing along almost parallel to the boat at, like, 20 miles an hour or however fast we were going. Maybe it was faster, I don't know, but it felt like I was invincible. I was unstoppable. It was so freeing, and now as I'm talking about it and I'm thinking about it, I just feel energized. What brings you that kind of joy and that kind of energy? Is there anything in your life currently that does? Is there anything in your life that you would want to bring in to bring you that kind of exhilaration and that kind of joy? Think about it. Like I said, close your eyes, get quiet, let your mind go crazy, and think about what you did when you were a kid. Like I said, my example is the water skiing. I used to love that. I haven't done it in years and years and years, but okay. Here's your challenge for the week. I want you to write down 3 things that you have put on the back burner, things that used to light you up, make you feel alive, or other things that you may not have tried yet that you keep putting off till someday. Well, guess what? Someday is here. I want you to pick one of those things, okay? If you're feeling ambitious and you want an extra gold star to put on the refrigerator, okay, you can write more than one, or you can pick more than one, but I want you to just pick one, because what happens is when we start to think about the possibilities and the potential, all of a sudden the doubt monster creeps in and it climbs up on our shoulder and it says, "Oh no, you can't do that. It's too big. It's too scary. It's too whatever." Take your pen and flick that thing right off your shoulder. So, write down those 3 things. Be just like in your core, these are the 3 things that are gonna light you up or that you've been putting on the back burner. Pick one, just one, and take or think of one tiny micro action that you can do to take one step closer to doing that thing. Okay? I'm not even saying if you wanna whatever the one thing is that you picked, if you wanna go full force and just go out there and do it, then do it, please. I highly encourage that. But if you are nervous and afraid that people are gonna think you're crazy or whatever else is stopping you, then just pick a tiny little micro action that will put you in that direction. The closer you get by taking one baby step after another, then before you know it, you're gonna be doing that one thing that you picked, okay? Write down 3 things that light you up or that you've been putting on the back burner. Pick one thing and then choose a micro action that will get you closer to that. All right? I wanna hear all about it. I wanna hear either what your 3 things are, but I really wanna hear what the one thing is that you've chosen and what your micro action was. So you can tag me, right? Put it on Instagram and use the hashtag midlife reclaimed, right? Hashtag midlife reclaimed and tag me on Instagram at Sue_Willoughby. Okay. If you don't follow me and then tag me. Okay. I want to know what you are working on. All right. Get out there, put on your skis, get behind the boat, and go for it. All right. Well, that's a wrap for episode 1 of the 5 summer series episodes for Midlife Strategies for Badass Women. I'm Sue Willoughby, your head badass midlife strategist. And don't forget, midlife isn't your breakdown, it's your breakthrough. And let's fucking go.